Hello friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and I'm here with a holiday tag series in the Simply G45. Simple, affordable, and quick. I was challenged as a member of the design team to create as many holiday tags with the St. Nick papers as I could in under an hour. So I put on my thinking cap, pulled out a few materials, and these are the cute little tags I came up with. There are 6 of them in all. Each of these are made with the G45 Staples alphabet banner tags. And I covered the fronts. I've got place for a photo mount on the back. These would be so fun for holiday placemats, place cards. It'd be great to tie onto your cookie baskets or quick breads that you deliver to your friends. You could hang these on the tree. You can string them on ribbon and make a banner. You can use them as hostess gifts. The sky's the limit. And the important thing is that each one of these, and I timed myself with a stopwatch, takes 10 minutes to make from start to finish. So in an hour you can make 6 tags. And as you can see, I've made the first 5. And together today we're going to make the 6th tag. So let me show you the materials that you need to gather to make the tags. You're going to need a standard size alphabet banner tag. I used 3 red and 3 black. I have the red one left to make with you. You're going to need black cardstock, 3 black cardstock rectangles cut to 3 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. You're going to need 3 sheets of Graphic 45 12 by 12 St. Nicholas papers. We're going to use the St. Nicholas collection. We're going to use the images here on the front. We're going to use the border, and we're going to use the plaid pattern on the back. You're going to need a 12 by 12 sheet of bells and bows, and we're going to use this as a background paper, and also we're going to do some fussy cutting with this, and we're going to use front and back. And then the third piece of Graphic 45 paper you're going to need is the Christmas cheer. That's the one with all these great postage stamps, some larger images, little holly and flower items that we're going to fussy cut. So you need that, and then you're also going to need the St. Nicholas banners and tags, chipboard pieces, and we're going to use these to decorate our tags. I also used black buttons, and I used 3 for each tag. You're going to need black cardstock for the red tags and red cardstock for the black tags, and a little piece of 5-inch piece of gingham ribbon. I used black gingham for the red tags and red gingham for the black tags. Some scrapbook adhesive, 3D foam dots, a standard pair of scissors. This is optional, but I like these shape scissors that cut the postage stamp shape. And then also you're going to need a piece of burlap string, which I had here. Yes, here it is. And this is about 20 inches long. Just burlap string. You could use white string, you could use yarn, whatever kind of fiber you have in your stash would probably work. So let's get started. And the first thing I did was, as I said, I cut my cardstock into 3 3/4 by, 3 3/4 inches long by wide by 4 3/4 inches long. And then I just took a corner chomper and I shaped the corners. Any kind of corner punch will work. You don't even have to do this part, but I thought it added a little extra element of fun. So I take my tag, I use a little bit of glue. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I happen to like liquid glue, and you can see you don't have to use a lot. I use Art Institute Dries Clear adhesive because it dries clear, and I can be a messy gluer. So you're just going to glue this onto your tag, then flip the tag over. Same thing on the back, just to cover up the lettering. You could also use a standard black tag or a craft tag. I just really like the backgrounds on these alpha tags, so I tend to use them a lot. Now on the back side, where you're going to use a photo mount, or you can use it as a spot to write a holiday greeting, you're just going to take your shaped scissors and very quickly cut out a postage stamp from that particular piece of paper. And then I like to crumple it up a little bit, brush the edge if you want to, you don't have to, with a little ink. And then I'm just going to place it right about here on my tag, and all I do is put the tiniest dot of glue right there. And the reason I do this is that because now you can mount, if you're mounting a photo, you can actually mount it behind there and place a pretty good sized photo on the back of your tag. So that's the back of the tag, which I think you'll agree doesn't get much simpler than that. So let's flip this back over. The next thing you're going to do is either from the holiday bell paper, this paper, or this plaid paper, which is the back side of St. Nicholas. You want to cut a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 rectangle of patterned paper, and this is going to sit right here. And again, we're just going to take a little bit of glue. You can use score tape, you can use scrapbook adhesives tape runner, whatever kind of adhesive, glue stick, whatever you like, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're just going to place that so that it's kind of even all the way around. And straight is also good. And that's why I like liquid glue, because it gives me that extra half second to adjust any crooked gluing. Then what I did was I cut the border pieces. And I thought what I'd do very quickly is just kind of go through with you how I break down a 12 by 12 page like this St. Nick. I have a large guillotine cutter. You can use any kind of cutter you want. But basically what I do is I line it up so that the first thing I did was take off this strip of plaid, and I just made a straight cut this way. Then I moved it over and lined it up and cut this part of the border. And I turn the paper and continue that all the way around on 4 sides. And this way you get to save that border and use it, and you've opened up the images on the inside, and then it's just a simple matter of cutting out the images you want to use. And I break down pretty much any 12 by 12 paper that has borders and images in that same way. So I've pre-cut these borders to measure 3 1/4 inches wide, because that is what we want. Just putting a tiny bit of glue on the back of this, and I want the dark border at the top, and we're just going to lay that down, and we're going to do the same thing on the bottom, just like this. And as you can see, this one is a little bit long. I didn't get that one measured quite right, so I'm just going to use my thumbnail to make a mark. Pick this up, and then it's just real easy to use your scissors to trim that little bit off. So there's that. Okay, now we're set. And just line up. It's always harder to do on camera because you have to keep your head out of the frame. But when you're working at home, you can do that. All right. Okay, straight. There we go. All right. Now we're going to use an image, and the image I have to work with this time is this Santa postage stamp, and that is from the Christmas Cheer collection page. And then I'm just going to, I trimmed this out with my stamp scissors. I'm just going to mat this on a tiny bit of black cardstock that I had left over from cutting my background pieces, and I'm just going to trim this down, and this will just kind of help it pop from the background so it doesn't get, I love matting images and layers because it creates a clean line between them. So let's just play with this a little bit. I'm thinking I want my Santa right about here. And then I have this cute chipboard tag. Okay, I think I actually want to do it like this. And I cut this out of, punch this out of the banners and tags. So this is how I actually build a layout. I kind of play around with the elements like this. And I say, do I like it like that? And I'm thinking I do like this a lot. And yeah, let's go with that. So now we're ready to put everything on here. I'm going to use my scrapbook adhesives foam dots on the back of my Santa image to create a little depth and dimension. I'm just going to put those on there. And one more. And position my Santa. I've actually taken pictures of layouts on a card or a project with my cell phone before. That's a really good tip. Just going to ink the edges, the raw edges of this a little bit. And that way, as I'm working, I can go back and I can see what I liked, so I can replicate it. And what did we do before cell phones? So I put a little glue on the top, a little foam dot on the bottom, and I'm going to line this up right about here. I like that. That looks good. And get it straight, glue it down. That's great. And then this is also from the banners and tags. Hit this with a little ink just to cover those raw edges. That's kind of a particular bugaboo of mine. I hate raw edges. And I did the same thing here, a little glue, a little foam adhesive. This way it goes down evenly. So let's put this right about here. I'm liking that. And then bring in my glue gun. You could use glue dots if you wanted to. I'm just going to glue these black buttons, these vintage black buttons down the side. If you didn't want to use buttons, you could use some of the circular elements from the banners and tags page, and that would look great too. I just love vintage buttons, and I have jars and jars of them. Of course, the glue gun doesn't want to cooperate here. Hold on. But like I said, glue dots would work for this too. If you wanted to take the time to thread all these buttons, you certainly could. So there's that. All right, the next element is I fussy cut from the Christmas bells paper little flowers, little bells. And I'm going to use these to help decorate my tag. I like this big one because I got kind of a big bald spot right there. Doesn't that look great? And here's how I ink the back of something small like this. I turn it face down and I use a blending tool and I just kind of scrub up against the edge, and that's going to eliminate that raw edge, but it's actually way easier to do than trying to do it from the top. So see how I like this? I think that looks good. And again, I'm going to just put a little glue and a couple of foam dots. These I've already fussy cut, but I'm going to show you as part of this tutorial just kind of how I fussy cut things once we get this part down. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty. Okay, so we're almost done. You can see how fast these go together. Then I have this little to from, also punched out from the chipboard banners and tags. And I think I want that to go right about there. So we're going to do the same thing. A little bit of glue on the bottom. Just like that. Now I take my piece of ribbon. I'm just going to thread it through the hole. Because this is a red tag, I'm using black ribbon and black background cardstock, and then pull it so that it's pretty much even. Then I've folded my piece of burlap string in half, and I'm going to wrap it around the base of my ribbon like this. Then I'm going to take the right side of my ribbon and pull it under the left side of my burlap string, and I'm going to pull it straight up so that it's like that. Can you see that? And then I'm just going to go ahead and tie a bow. This will keep your, doing that step will keep your bow straight. Kind of fluff this out a little bit, because I like fluffy bows. And you could use ribbon, you could tie extra ribbon. I was just, to keep costs down, almost everybody has string of some sort. And then this, where it was doubled over, just needs to be trimmed. So there's our bow. Now to get the little fishtail banner on the end, line the ends of your ribbon up like this, fold in half, and then with my ribbon cutting scissors, and I never cut anything but ribbon with these scissors. And look at that. How cute. That's basically done. The only thing we want to do at this point is, where'd my bell go? I had a cutout bell. Here it is. I think I want my bell to be on the top like this, because I like how that looks. So a little bit of hot glue here in the back. Add it right to the center of the knot on my bow, and then to add a little dimension, a little foam adhesive on the back. And how cute is that? And I mean, it always takes longer to make something in a tutorial because you're having to explain what you're doing. But what I recommend when you're doing something like this, create your own assembly line. Line up your tags, then line up your pre-cut background pieces, then line up your cutout images, line up your buttons, so you have your own little assembly line, and boom, 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 you just go down the line, and you will easily be able to put 6 of these together within an hour once you've done that. Now if you want to fluff up your leaves, which I like to do, I just kind of lift them, pinch the edges just to add a little dimension, little finishing touches. Do that here. And cute, right? That'd be so sweet on a loaf of holiday bread. Now, I promised you I would show you a little fussy cutting technique. And first I look at the image and I kind of figure out, okay, this is a natural image together, this bell, and then this flower is also a natural image. And I go in and I do what I call whacking it out. And by that, I just kind of go sort of close around the image, but not trying to really cut it out, because it's a lot easier to manipulate your scissors around less paper. And then I kind of hold my scissors to the side, and I don't move the scissors, I move the paper. And this takes a little bit of practice, but once you get this down, see, I'm holding my scissors stationary and I'm moving the paper. So it's just a nice fluid cut, and you don't get all those little jags and, you know, awkward cuts like you do when you chop away with your scissors. And you just keep turning the paper. It's a little hard to do on camera because I don't want to cover up what I'm doing. But as you can see, it's just very smooth, very fluid. All right, and then when I get to a little spot like this, I'm actually going to cut straight across to the bell. And I'm going to go up, and I'm going to cut this way. Then I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to meet that cut. See how not easy that was? Then get my scissor. And these are fussy cutting scissors. I have other scissors that I use for projects, But I keep these just for fussy cutting so they'll stay nice and sharp. See how easy that was? Very simple. I'll just show you, like, again with the flower, just the whacking out part. I just kind of look at it and I go, okay, this seems sort of like a natural shape to me. I'm just going to whack that out. And then I'll go back in and I'll do that same cutting technique that I just demonstrated to you. And I actually don't think I'm going to worry about those berries at the bottom. But see, working with a small piece like this is way easier to move your scissors around it than a big piece like this. So I hope that helps you a little bit. And then always with little pieces like this, I ink up. You can use pumice stone, you can use hickory smoke. I like vintage photo. And I just hit the back like I showed you before with my blending tool to cover the raw edges. So, move this mess out of the way. Let's bring in our tags. There they are. 6 adorable holiday tags. You could make a whole lot more. You could use different images. I just happen to like these. Minimal supplies, minimal time. Very easy. You could do these with your kids. You could set up an assembly line with them. You'd be all set. Happy holidays. Have fun creating. And thanks for stopping by.